Maneater, where mankind fears the vicious sharks of the great ocean. So much so that there's whole groups of shark hunters that keep the coast safe and clean from all the sharks out there. In reality, however, sharks rarely attack people. In 2020 there were only 129 reported shark attacks worldwide. This is according to the ISAF, which stands for International Shark Attack File. And 39 of these shark attacks were provoked. Provoked attacks mean that people try to interact with the shark by going up to them, like trying to pet them, hunt them, or free them from nets and fishing hooks, which makes sense. Who wouldn't defend themselves in such scenarios? So sharks really aren't that dangerous. Just wanted to get that out there. If you do want to fear an animal, just fear the mosquitoes. They killed 409,000 people in 2019 with their juicy malaria-filled stinger. Like, they are the real douchebags of nature. I can appreciate that the developers of Maneater also tried to show that sharks really aren't that dangerous. I think it's a really nice touch.
Humans kill 100 million sharks every year. But only 5 humans are killed by sharks. It's time to even the score.
Anyways, I got sidetracked there. Let's get back to the sharks. The game Maneater is inspired by the game Jaws Unleashed, which got released in May the 23rd of 2006, which is a very epic game in my opinion. The game is pretty much like the movie Jaws, but then you get to play the shark, which I really used to love as a kid. Now the game Maneater is labeled as an open world action RPG, or as the developers wrote, it's a shark PG. I honestly have no idea how you're supposed to pronounce that. Oh, and the game's story is narrated by Chris Parnell. He is the guy that did the voice of Jerry Smith from Rick and Morty. So you know, that might tickle your fancy. Now in the game Maneater you take control of a baby bull shark, which got gruesomely cut out of his mother by the villain Scaly Pete, who also disfigured you so they can recognize and kill you once you're an adult. But as he was disfiguring you, you also bit off his hand, which made him especially sour. Now this Scaly Pete guy absolutely hates sharks and wants to wipe them out completely. But the game immediately seems to contradict this statement, as he doesn't outright kill you after cutting you out of your mother's womb. Instead he just marks you and throws you out of the boat so he can play with you once you're grown up. I know that he threw us out of the boat as soon as we bit his hand off, but he would have thrown us out of the boat even if we didn't. Now Scaly Pete also has a son called Kyle, who claims that Pete's father got killed by a megalodon. And yes, apparently megalodons still live in this world. Although there is still people in our world that also believe that megalodons are living in the deep ocean, which is interesting. Anyhow, I suppose this is the reason why Pete hates normal everyday sharks. After a while, shit hits the fan for Scaly Pete. I won't say how or why, as I don't want to spoil the story, but Scaly Pete will do everything in his power to lead you to your demise. Let's get back to your escape. After you escape, you live off of fish, humans and whatever else you can find in the ocean, slowly growing into the ultimate killing machine. All this whilst you are getting hunted by shark hunters, which will most likely be turned into a tasty snack for you. Which is good, because in this game it is important to have a nice and diverse diet, as you need different types of nutrients to be able to grow in size and unlock new abilities. Besides getting different nutrients, there's also other apex predators that you must kill to unlock new powers. As you grow and climb up in the ecosystem, you'll be able to shape your shark to your liking and playstyle. And eventually, you will be able to become a shark of legend. You will be able to become the almighty megalodon. Yes, you heard that right. You will change species, screw the bull shark, become a megalodon instead. Which I believe is closer related to a great white shark, but alright. Now as someone that liked the realness of the game Jaws Unleashed, I think this is a bit strange and unnecessary. I always especially like the realness of Jaws Unleashed, because in that game you play an existing shark species that we all know, which in my opinion helps heaps with the immersion. But if you are more into fantasy, then this might be right up your alley. What do you guys think? Do you prefer to be an existing powerful great white shark that has its limitations? Or do you guys rather take a more fantasy oriented approach, where you can become an unstoppable killing machine? Let me know in the comments down below. To expand a bit further on the fantasy element, you aren't just limited to the normal abilities like a charge, or a good old tail slap to stun your enemies. There is way more heavy fantasy elements to this game. This is where those nutrients we talked about come into play, as you need those nutrients to get certain traits, and using these traits you can make your very own build. One being a bone build, for example, where you can ram hard to destroy boats and have some nice armor covering you, to get that sweet damage reduction. How about a shark with electromagnetic powers attached to him? Or maybe a shark in shadow armor that deals poison damage? In this game it's all possible. Making all these changes will also make you look very different in the game. You can even go as far as changing the shark's teeth. You can select all your own little traits to get it matching to your playstyle. And with your fully decked out shark, you will be able to explore 7 different regions. That being the Gulf Coast, resort beaches, industrial docks, the open ocean and much more. All this in a living world with a full day and night cycle. Now Maneater is made by Tripwire Interactive, which are the same developers as other well-sold games like the Killing Floor games and Red Orchestra. I own both these games and they're pretty well made. Maneater is also rated pretty positively by critics, but not everyone is incredibly satisfied with it. Some Jaws Unleashed fans are pretty disappointed, as Maneater doesn't have the same visceral feel and gameplay that Jaws Unleashed had. And from what I've seen so far, I kinda agree with this. I honestly wish Maneater took a bit more of a realistic approach as their inspired game Jaws Unleashed did. I remember ripping humans to shreds in Jaws Unleashed, leaving them dead in the water with missing limbs to be eaten by other smaller sharks. Whereas in Maneater it seems to be more about combos where you instantly seem to eat the whole person at the end of the combo, instead of being able to eat the person bite by bite, which I think is a shame. In Jaws Unleashed you can also hear their screams in a realistic fashion underwater as you munch on them, which made it so much more believable. Also in games like these I'm not a big fan of the heavy RPG elements either, where you have to grind resources to buy traits to pretty much evolve you into something that isn't really a shark anymore. It's more like some cyborg or a mutated shark depending on what build you pick. I know it's the whole point of the game, but it seems a bit out of place to me, because it no longer makes you feel like you're playing a creature that lives in our ocean. It just removes the realness of the story and ruins the immersion. I also think they missed a big chance by not adding a deep sea area, as such areas are always really thrilling to explore and add more depth to the world. By the way, no pun intended there. Alright, moving on. The game Maneater will release on Steam the 25th of May, although it has been out on other platforms since the 22th of May 2020. I have no idea how to say 22th, 22, 22nd, I don't know. Anyway, the game isn't really new, only the Steam release is. And Steam currently doesn't tell you how much the game will cost, but on Epic Games the game costs €36.99, so the Steam price will most likely be the same, or very close to that price. Okay, the game just released as I was editing this video. The game will cost €30.59 on discount. So yeah, there it is. Anyway, let me know what you guys think of this game. And I'm curious if you guys will be playing it or if you guys agree with me or not. I'd love to hear it in the comments down below. And that is all for today. If you liked today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you don't have an opinion on the matter, just comment something random for the almighty algorithm, as it helps me out heaps. And as always, thanks for watching.